Hey, it's Luis Martin, the art engineer, and welcome to the studio. Today it's time for a show and tell. I'll add some nice little graphic there. Sometimes it's really important to stop and see what we've been working on, right? So, there's a ding. You know it's good when the ding happens and I'm talking. Sometimes you just feel like you always have to be busy and you don't realize that you have been busy. So I'm gonna take a moment to pat myself on the back and see what I've been up to. I need to check in with myself. So maybe that's what this will be, a check-in. Before I dive into my check-in, some awesome news. We have the pre-sale of the Spring 2022 Digital Collage Kit. I'm trying to contain myself. This is really exciting. I have put together 20 amazing images that are just Kindle for fire or whatever. It's just really exciting. So if you want to buy a kit but don't live in the US, this is a great opportunity to have that experience. You can buy it, print it out, or create a digital collage as I did for the cover. Really exciting stuff. So please go check that out. Now it's $5 cheaper now than it will be when it's out. So go to collagedream.com and have a look. Also, if you're in New York, ding, 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 we have Casa Collage Dream, which is my studio activated. My studio as a community hub, as a safe space to create in community and explore. So this is my invitation for you to kind of come to the studio and shapeshift into the artist that's inside of you, right? So let's explore, let's make more than a pretty picture. I have all of these slogans, so if you need one, I'll give you one. Also, last thing I want to share, I'm working on my branding. I'm working on all this amazing merch, we'll call it. So I will be coming up with some great apparel, I'll call it. It's all still kind of new to me. And my little boy dream is to like have my work at Target, like as t-shirts and as like ring, I want, it's gonna happen. So that's my dream, right? So I'm moving closer to it. If you have a goal, move closer to it. It doesn't have to happen overnight, you know, inch by inch. So that's my news, you guys. Let's check in. How are you? What's going on with you? We live in crazy times, so no matter what year it is, no matter what's happening, it always seems like the world is ending. It's not. We're okay. We're gonna get through this. And one way to get through this is through art. The first piece I want to talk about is a piece that I kind of stumbled upon recently. And it's kind of from the vault, right? I made this pre-pandemic, and sometimes things aren't ready for public consumption. You know, they just aren't. You don't want to share them. You don't have to share them. Sometimes we feel like we have to look productive, so we put things that we don't feel comfortable with. This one, I remember I had a certain type of feeling about it because the face actually reminded me of someone in my past that was kind of shisty. I wasn't close to this person, but they were shisty, and their shystiness kind of affected the environment I was in. So I was like, let me put this away. But it's another day, right? It's another year, it's another life, it's another studio. So I'm like, okay, it's time to let this collage breathe. And I titled it The Noble Thief. Thief because the guy was kind of a thief. And see, you don't have to be petty. You don't have to be petty. I got really excited, so I had to sit up. You don't have to be petty in real life. You can do it all through your work, through your collage. You don't have to go gossip. I'm gossiping through my collage. And if you can see it, great. If not, I already let it out, so whatever. But it's a beautiful collage, and I'll tell you why. The colors, I love the colors. I'm really happy with the colors. And I was able to kind of look beyond this person's face and kind of just perhaps play with the idea of empathy, right? Of like, okay, why is this person, you know, his arms are crossed and he's kind of gazing out. I called it noble because, well, I just want to frame it as a noble thief. Like, I think at the end of the day, even the worst criminal, the worst thief in their mind have some kind of sense that feels right to them, right? Not to make anything right or wrong, but so I was playing with that idea, and I like it now. I love it now, actually. So I can look at this and feel better about it than I did when I initially made it. So play with that idea, right? Let's play with that idea. I love the circularness. I love how it's kind of opening. It's geometric. It's, you know, organic, and of course the little bird, which is probably his Jiminy Cricket telling him to behave. But do we listen to our Jiminy Crickets? I don't know. I try to. No, but I listen to my gut, so yeah. So this is a collage that I really, really love, and I love a blue dot. I rarely have little blue dots. I have turquoise. So this is a nice little primary color play with color and shapes. So I like this one, you guys. Tell me what you think. This is actually available for purchase at my website, luismartinart.com. I have a zillion websites, but they're all linked, so look at the bottom or something. luismartinart.com. Yeah, I also really had a great time playing with the black and white, because you know, anytime you have a black and white image, it's an invitation to bring in your own color. So I brought out those Arteza brush markers that my high school teacher gave me. Hey, Miss Dazer. And went to town. I didn't have to go overboard, you know, it just happened. So this is that one. All right, ready for the next one? So the next one is actually a digital collage. This started as a digital collage, and maybe I'll put it on a white substrate so you can see it a little bit clearer, more of a contrast. I made this from one of my collage kits as an example of what you can make. So this is all made on Photoshop. I collected some images and went to town. I love this image. This is Kotlikyu, which is a nature goddess, and I called it Portal, right? Because at the end of the day, we all want to kind of go to our next step, having someone greet us, right? Someone with power, someone with a loving nature. So this is what I imagine, perhaps death or success even, or love, right? It's kind of like this welcoming portal, and you're going into it. I've told a lot of my students, and I see it in a lot of their work, when you create these frames that are kind of growing, one bigger than the other, it really makes the eye go in. I've seen some great stuff happening using this technique, so play with that. This is actually, so these letters are from a license plates, my license plates, when I had a car in California. So, you know, you play with it, and this is the fun part, right? If you buy my collage kit, use it, but make it your own. Bring in some pictures, bring in your license plates, bring in information that it isn't too personal, but make it your own and have fun, right? So this is not only fun because of the color and the shapes, but you know, this is part of my heritage, and that's a huge part for me, because as a Mexican American, Chicano, queer, Latinx, it's really important for me to show up in that way. I don't have to you don't have to do anything, right? You don't have to show up, but if you want to show up, you can, and this is how I choose to show up. So if you recognize something in this and you love it, it's an opportunity for reflection, right? So I hope a lot of people see reflection in this, and if you're Latinx, reach out. Hey, get that. So I love this one. And another thing that I love about this, and this is tip number 2075, because it is a digital collage, I printed it out. So I have prints that I sell, but I also created a postcard. So this is really, I was gonna curse, but this is really awesome, because this is how you can take one of your works and propagate it, right? Because when you make a collage, it's precious, there's only one of it, but when you make multiples, you can just hand it out like crazy, right? So because I was saying, oh, this is really important to me because it represents my culture, my heritage, and I want more people to see their reflection in it, then let me go to the library and stuck it in history books, right? For free, just so people can find it and be like, oh, what's this? And it'll be a nice surprise. But that's how you do it, right? Don't wait for the museums to knock on your door and say, hey, we wanna reprint your collage and have people see it. No. Do it yourself and give yourself that power. You have so much power in your hands, you guys. So this is really a way that I exercise that power and show up, right? So don't be surprised if you find this in a book in a library in New York, but go for it. So in the back I put my information. The name of the piece was actually Portal Home, and this was part of the Papel de Raíces calendar that I've made 2 years in a row. I hope to do it again next year, that celebrates Latinx culture, and it has really important dates. So this is really fun. I really, really love this. And also, when you start putting things together, right? When you start checking in and looking at your work and you're like, oh, I like yellow. Oh, I like magenta. Oh, I like moody things, right? You start to learn about your style. And that's really important, right? Not necessarily so you can do it over and over, but just so you're aware. And then when someone asks you what kind of art you make, it's easier to articulate. Oh, I make collages that are very vibrant and that reflect my culture and my personal life, because those are valid points. Now, the last one that I want to share is actually not a collage, it's a diorama. I made this during Februarage. I'm already getting ahead of myself. And this was so fun. Because, why was it fun? So it was fun because I stepped out of my comfort zone, right? I hate getting my hands dirty, you guys. I just do. But I've gone past it, and I used glue, and I created a sculpture, I guess. Also, I live in New York, right? You know this. There is no space in New York. If you look to the right, there's tons of books. If you look to the left, there's tons of books. There's no space for sculptures. There's very little space for anything. So I like to keep my collages flat, tucked away in folders. So when I make something in the round sculpture, it really has to be like worth it for me, right? So I bought this box from a friend, my friend Christine. Hey, Christine. And I went to town. I was like, okay, let me play with this. And again, we bring everything in, right? If you have tons of interests, I know a lot of you guys have this special power of ADD, ADHD, high def television, whatever. Attention deficit disorder is what we called it. It's a superpower, right? So if you have all of these interests, thread them together, my friends. So this little tassel. It's an orange tassel. Not to me. To me, I bought this in Mérida when I was in Mexico, having the time of my life. I went to a craft store and I bought it because my aunt that I had just met for the first time had these amazing earrings that looked just like them, actually. Wait a minute, hold the press. So, my aunt, who I'd never met, was wearing these amazing earrings. And I was like, what is this? And she's like, yeah, they're my earrings. You want them? And she just gave them to me. And I was like, I was so touched. You know, I love gifts. But I was just so touched by this gift that, I don't know. These tassels now mean generosity to me, right? So I took that, and when I saw this at the craft store, I'm like, oh, generosity, that's what it means, right? So that's what that means for me. Also, it's a cigar box. I mean, what's more romantic than a cigar box, right? People keep their letters in there, people keep their money in there. What do I keep in here? Just as important as money, I keep my sisters. That sounds creepy, but no. So this is called Las Tres Marias. I effectively have 3 sisters myself. And we weren't raised together, so I haven't spent much time with them because that's just the way cards were dealt. But I speak to them often, and I love them very much. And in my head, I've created a safe space where they can exist, and I can keep them safe and in an enchanted world where they are filled with blessings, right? That's what you can do with art, right? This is literally me making magic. I don't have to know a spell. I don't have to, chant if I don't want to. This is just as good as that, right? So I've created this beautiful generosity tassel that now opens the door to my sisters, and they are in this perfect little world that I've created for them. This is actually a tin from my pomade. Yes, I'm a very vain man, and I use a lot of pomade. So I go through these like crazy. So actually, we're going to be making some of these at Casa Collage. So if you're in New York, stay tuned. So I thought, hey, let's bring out the glue gun, make it work. I have a nice little mirror because at the end of the day, I think that's the way to wholeness, right? To your inner being, to God. If you can look in the mirror and just see unconditional love, yeah, you found God, right? Nothing to complain about, nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be inferior about. So the mirror can be your friend. Anyway, so I thought this would be a really beautiful way to include that. And one of my favorite things is this stone. There's a selenite stone here that's artificially dyed, but who cares? It's part of the fantasy, and it creates this magical suspended universe, right? And it's just so beautiful. I love it so much. This is actually available for purchase on Saatchi. You can go to my website, luismartinart.com, and you can go to the link there to see a little bit more. So, as artists, we have so much power to transform a discarded empty box into an activated magical space of generosity and love, where perhaps you didn't feel love, or where perhaps you felt lonely. So now I just have to look at this to remind myself that my sisters are always with me, even if I can't see them, right? I'm not looking for them where they used to be or where they should be, but I'm looking for them where they are, which is right here. So yes, I'm super sappy, and this is how I get through my day. Because sometimes when I don't recognize myself because of sadness, because of the crazy stuff that's happening in the world, this is how you center yourself. You've been doing the work, I've been doing the work, and this is how I can center myself and find peace through my work, right? So you guys, this is a short video. I just really wanted to share and check in, and also take a moment to breathe. Okay, I just really wanted to breathe. So I hope you take some time to pat yourself on the back. I'll do it for you, and celebrate what you've been doing, because even if you just made one collage last month, you showed up and you made it. Or even if you were thinking about it, maybe that's enough for now, but maybe tomorrow you can create a collage, a new one, and feel good about that too. So all to say, you have tons of power, what you do matters, and I am here rooting for you. So this is Luis Martin, the art engineer, inviting you to dream, inviting you to make more than a pretty picture, and if you're in New York, inviting you to Casa Collage Dream. All right, I will see you at collagedream.com and luismartinart.com, and soon, hopefully, at Target. All right, ciao.